Hi everyone, and welcome to Youth Council TV, where we bring conversations that inspire, inform, and empower young people across Kenya. I'm your host Tracy Ngoya, and today we are honored to have a young remarkable leader who continues to inspire many through his actions. Joining us today is Mr. SK Kajwang, who is a young advocate, a former university leader, a governance enthusiast, and an author of a new book called A New Nation. Thank you so much for joining us at Studio Council TV.
Thank you, Tracy.
Maybe you could introduce yourself to the people and tell us a little bit about your journey for us to have an insight on it.
Thank you, Tracy, for having me. This opportunity to appear before Youth Council TV to converse with my fellow young people across the divide. This is SK Kajwang, a citizen of the great Republic of Kenya. I'm a patriot, governance enthusiast. I'm an author of A New Nation. I'm also an author of a book titled Becoming a President. It is my firm belief and conviction that you get spaces such as this to converse with fellow countrymen. We do it with the ardent desire to improve the commitment of the values and ideals of our democracy. So thank you so much, Tracy, and looking forward towards an interactive conversation about the ideals that brings all of us together as citizens.
Thank you so much. Maybe we could just start with who is SK Kajwang behind all the accolades?
Thank you. SK Kajwang, as I've mentioned, is an author, is a graduate, still studying, doing my master's, also doing law. And I've authored two books. One, Becoming a President, and two, A New Nation, that is here with us. And I'm going to discuss what this A New Nation is all about. But before going into the details of A New Nation and the subjects of our conversation, allow me to give you a preview, a profile of the reason that motivated me to be the person that I am today.
Okay.
SK Kajwang got a rare opportunity and privilege and chance to serve the majestic comrades of Mount Kenya University in the years 2022-2023. Also got a subsequent chance to serve students across the country in different capacities. And so I'm speaking here not only as Kajwang, not only as SK, not only as a man who comes from a small village in Narok, but also a citizen who believes that different people from different regions with different diverse opinions and views about different subjects can be able to have that benevolence of faith to work together towards a common cause. When I wrote my first book, Becoming a President, it was out of conviction that a single kid, a common kid, an ordinary kid from a village alone can rise to the echelons of power, irrespective of what he looks like, irrespective of who his father was, irrespective of his tribe, irrespective of his ethnicity, irrespective of the kind of God he worships, that our country can be able to give a fair chance, an equal shot, and a fair opportunity to every single kid of our country. That is the reason that made me write Becoming a President, because I have a firm belief that myself and other young people of our country can be able to raise the echelons of power and responsibility to improve our country and to make everyone better. And from that I realized that in a country that is so divided, that is so profiled across ethnicity, that is so profiled across tribe, whereby the merit and the door to power is decided by which tribe has the most votes, and which individual can be able to hegemonize regions against others. And with that firm belief in mind, I realized that a young kid, a common kid, an ordinary kid from Narok, a village that is not known, not in Google Maps, cannot be able to identify himself with that dream if things cannot change. And with that in mind, that raised an alarm in my heart to change the direction and perspective and mindset of our country and the culture and tradition that society has taught for a long time. that made me write A New Nation. A New Nation is a firm conviction that any child, a skinny kid with funny name, comes from a village unknown, can make the ends meet. That this country can provide equal chance, fair opportunity, whereby everyone counts. That is the reason why I wrote A New Nation. A New Nation is about everyone being part of the process of building their country. Everyone being part and parcel of the success and development of their nation. It's a firm conviction that no matter who you are, no matter the God that you worship, no matter the ethnicity that you come from, old, young, women, men, youth alike, can be able to reason together as young people, can be able to reason together and shape the perspective that develops the country, that makes the country better, that makes everyone count. That opinions and views, in a pluralistic society such as ours, where everyone has an opinion and view about anything and everything, be able to accommodate the views and opinions of different perspectives of different people. So that is the conviction that made me write A New Nation, to try and stabilize the paradigms of our country and shape an opinion that all of us are one people, one nation, and one future.
And let's go back to becoming a president. That book, when you wrote it, did you write it when you were still a student leader, or did you write it after? And what brought about you saying, I need to write this for the young people out here to be able to see my vision?
Thank you. So the time that I wrote Becoming a President is when I was given that rare privilege to serve the majestic students of Mount Kenya University, and at the same time I was elected to serve students in Kiambu County under an umbrella organization that KUCSA. It means Kiambu University College Students Alumni Association. Then university presidents across the region agreed that SK Kajwang can be able to lead us. And under that conviction and that understanding, I realized that leadership is not about title. Leadership is not about position. Leadership is about purpose and service. And with that realization in mind, I realized that let me put a link to paper to pass my ideas, to pass my conviction to the young people, to the young students, to realize that in beneath their heart, they can be able to make a difference in society and change the trajectory of our governance and politics. And therefore, when I was serving as president of Student Union, back then I wrote Becoming a President with the firm conviction that that was just a microcosm to national politics. It was just a foundation. It was a chance for me to rise the echelons of power and the echelons of responsibility. And therefore, Becoming a President was written when I was serving as a student leader back then. And it gave me a firm belief and conviction to continue building brick by brick, hand by hand, society by society, citizen by citizen. And that is what actually brought this A New Nation.
That's very interesting. I wanted also to ask, when it comes to young people who are following you right now, they're trying to be like you, what is it you can tell someone who wants to be a leader but doesn't know how he can go about it, or if he even has the capabilities to follow in that footstep?
I'll not make a mistake to say that I'm a complete person. I'll not say that I'm genius, because nobody is. Everyone undergoes a process of metamorphosis. We metamorphose every single day by reading, by learning from peers, by learning from mentors, by learning from people who went before us who made a difference in society. And from that, we metamorphose to different people who have ideas and solutions to problems that we face. And therefore, the perfect advice that I could give to a young person today who wants to be like SK Kajwang or who wants to make a difference in society is try to make a difference. Try to make your voice count. Participate actively in democratic processes. Because with this, I'm reminded of the famous US motto that says, "E pluribus unum," that out of many, we are one. And also of the conviction that more than 200 years ago, the US made a declaration of independence that said, that we hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It didn't say some people. It didn't say a certain tribe. It didn't say a certain clan. It said all the people of the human race are equal. And therefore, for us to satisfy that curiosity for happiness and liberty, we must be able to live together, be able to coexist, be able to correspond. You know, we have differences in opinion, differences in how we believe, differences in how we approach issues. But that should never make us disappear from humanity.
Yeah.
We should always endeavor to make the people next door better. We should always try to live peacefully and coexist as one people together in our neighborhoods, being our brothers and sisters keeper. That must be the call, and that is the call of a new nation. That is what I believe in.
Yeah.
And therefore, if citizens of the country can be able to, bring all these expertise, bring the skill, bring the perspective, bring the ideas together, then we can form a united society. Some naysayers will say, skeptics will say, that a united Kenya is impossible. They will say it is an impossible dream because we do our politics in the segmented tribe, segmented ethnicity. We poke on the nose of others, and we mobilize against other people because they have few votes, because others have not made a difference before, and we make that our tradition. And in this culture, because if society has taught a certain endeavor for quite a long time, then the same society has a capacity to teach a different endeavor. And so, because we have been conditioned that only politicians can solve all our problems, that is why citizens most of the time, falter on opinion. And you see, they say only politicians can do this and we as citizens cannot do it. I want to really implore on my fellow citizens that, of course, and just about that most of our problems that we expect today and the problems that we see today are all caused by these politicians. We as citizens of this country must be able to do everything possible to shape the conversation around us. Because, they have mastered the art of shaping a conversation of us versus them, no longer about us. And therefore, SK Kajwang wants to shape a conversation of us, the citizens, not us politicians versus the citizens. Try Kikuyu versus Luo, Luo versus Maasai, Maasai versus Mijikenda. That is the conversation that these people are shaped for a long time, since independence. Very true. Conversations about polarizing society for the benefit of a few people. And so a new nation implores on citizens to participate actively and meaningfully in building the bricks of a new country, building the culture, building the tradition, and building the perspective of us together. Citizens can make a difference.
And I also feel like it's such a big thing that's happening because of the tribal thing. Tribe is really something that's affecting all of us as a nation, because most people tend to vote depending on who is my people. That's a Kikuyu, okay, that's my people, let me vote. How can we go to the grounds and actually make change when it comes to this, so that we vote for people, not because they are one of us, or he is a Kikuyu like me, or she is a Luya like me. How can we make people change their perspectives without leaning towards the tribe side? How can we do that from your perspective?
There is a very dangerous illusion that drives citizens to think that only my people can give me or lend me a hand. And this illusion has been shaped by politicians who believe that our country is so dangerously divided. And they have benefited a lot from our division.
Yes.
And they never want society to unite for a common cause, because now they will not be able to achieve their political ends.
True.
And as a young person who believes ardently that these things can change, that our country can unite, it is never an impossibility. There is nothing impossible under the sun. And therefore I implore and urge my fellow citizens, because it's a culture that we've developed and conditioned over time to think just a certain tribe can lead the rest. That when tribe A and tribe B unite, they can be able to lead the rest of 47, lead the rest of 50 tribes across the country. And I want us to have a conversation, a real conversation, a genuine conversation. You know, before we are Kikuyu, before we are Mijikenda, before we are Taita, before we are Pokomo, before we are Kikuyu Kenya, before we are Pokomo Kenya, before we are Masai Kenya, we are citizens of the Republic of Kenya. And before being citizens, we are people of the human race.
Yes.
And therefore, if we are global citizens, we have to think globally. We have to think as human people. We have to think as human before being Kikuyu, before being Kenya. And if we have such a conversation that, you know, God pioneered you, or by accident you were born from a different tribe, that should not be a limitation to determine what success you achieve in life. And people perhaps who share these conversations is because it has worked for them for quite some time, and they believe that the only way to do it is to poke on the nose of tribe A, so that people from that tribe can be able to defend them. Even when they steal public resources, they know that they have immunity and protection from their tribesmen. And you see, that is why we have a lot of redundancy in society. We have a lot of redundancy in national development. Because someone from a certain tribe steals public resources and steals hospitals, steals good medical care, steals good education, steals proper sewerage system, steals everything that perhaps could make citizens better. And now, because he has immunity and protection from the tribesmen, now he runs there and say that I'm being attacked from certain community. And you see, these people are just trying to share their own political interests. You know, even some of these political parties are just established for the purposes of doing business with government and doing business with the people, and perhaps hypnotize an entire community to believe that they are being represented on the national table, which is neither here nor there. Because you see, people, when they say they are representing us in the national table, they say the national cake, which is an illusionary ideal that perhaps do not make meaning to the very essence and values of our democracy. These people now, they say they are going to represent an entire community in the national table, where they say that now they are going to divide cakes on what you bring to the table, the voting basket. And allow me to take you back to the years. And I cover it very well in A New Nation. You know, when the colonialists left and that flag was brought down and a flag was raised up, and we said that now we have our full rights and we have our full jurisprudence and we have our constitution, we have our own constitutional framework, we have our laws in order, we have a proper working system. Now we have authority and government elected by the people, and you know that now governs us. We forget that the colonialists left, and we extend that with a man with a black skin. But the very culture that was used, imposed on us, that was actually used to spread and authority over citizens of the country, is the very same, very same. Even when you see the models of our democracy, the models of our constitution, it's just borrowed from the Western countries. And so we cannot now think and start to believe that these things are alien. These are features, these are characteristics, these are values instilled upon us. And that is why I keep insisting, like Martin Luther King Jr. said, that I look forward towards a country where citizens and children are not judged by their race, but judged by their character. Because he affirmed one thing is clear, that character defines who a true leader is. Character defines who a true man is. Character defines what humanity is all about. Values of decency, values of kindness, values of honesty is what truly shapes a democracy, is what truly shapes a people. That we do not have to hate on each other because of our difference in political opinion. We don't have to hate on each other because, of course, we have different views about the person that we call the kingpin. And so this is a very troubling endeavor that we as citizens of this country must correct. We need to live the true values of our democracy, the true values of what humanity is all about. Yeah, so I'm so much convinced.
Exactly, and I like where our conversation is going because it's really literally rotating around your new book, A New Nation. Because from this A New Nation, you're clearly talking about how tribalism should not be like a factor of when you're electing someone or when you even being a leader. That should not be what is spearheading you to do something. So what is this one thing from your book that you would like for young people to maybe get from it? What is this one thing that you wish, if they read this book, that they can understand your vision of what you would have wanted for them to clearly know?
Great, thank you. In chapter 4 of A New Nation, right beyond the ballot. But that is not what actually I want to discuss. A New Nation is about, we are not divided tribes. We are not divided ethnicities. We are one people. That is a conversation that A New Nation tries to share. That is a clear insight that A New Nation tries to provide. A New Nation is a conviction from a firm belief that irrespective of our differences, we can be able to sit down, you coming from a different tribe, me coming from a different tribe, but we are not arguing about tribe. We are arguing about factors and perspectives, then values that can shape our democracy, that can shape our country, that can make you better, and that can make me better. As citizens, not as Kikuyu, not as Maasai, not as Kamba, not as Mijikenda. That is a conversation that I'm trying to bring forth. And so this A New Nation tries to breathe in a new air and a rebirth of a new country, a new Kenyan dream, whereby you're not seen from your ethnicity. When I look at your eyes, I see myself in your eyes. When I look at you, I see myself. The problems that you face is the problems that I face. The economic tabernacle that you have is the same economic tabernacle that I face. You know the adversity in life that you're confronted with, whether by politics, whether by life issues. You know, it's the very same tabernacles that face me every single day. I go about pursuing my own business to try and succeed. And it is also a firm belief that provided you're willing to work hard, you can always get ahead. It's also a firm belief, firm conviction that provided that you believe you can do it, a country provides a fair chance and a fair space for you to do it. It's also a conviction that, you know, as John Locke opined, that government is constituted by men, and if government fails to administer its responsibilities, citizens have a chance to terminate it altogether. With that firm conviction, A New Nation tries to provide a perspective and shed light that governments must be able to serve the citizens, because governments cannot exist without the citizens. It is the citizens that make a government work. It is the citizen that makes a government exist. And therefore, there is no individual who operates in vacuum. All these are interdependent. These are correlated. These are coordinated. Therefore, the bond as citizens that must unite as is the very same conviction that government should be able to make the lives of the citizens better every single day. Governments perhaps are elected by the people to do the things that citizens cannot do for themselves. To protect them from harm and to ensure that they have a tranquil environment to make themselves better. We as citizens also have an equal responsibilities as well as rights, because most of the time we have view that government should solve all our problems. It is not true. Government should be a medium in which citizens and people who serve in government meet at the middle and provide a safe ground for them to do better, to coexist together. Because, you know, governments are temporary, but a country and a nation is permanent. And therefore, within our jurisdiction, citizens live in a country that provides equal chances, that provide fair opportunities, that irrespective whether you rich, whether poor, that a country counts, that a government counts, all of us, the citizens, equal. That your money does not determine what you achieve in life. That the billionaire in the capital city is treated same before the law as that street kid in the streets of Nairobi. That farmer in Trans Nzoia who does his work with grit to make ends meet has an equal opportunity to succeed as that billionaire with big money in the capital city. The skinny kid with a funny name has equal chances, equal opportunities to succeed as the privileged kid in the suburb in Karen. So that is the conversation that a new nation tries to share. A country where all the citizens, irrespective of where you come from, irrespective of what your surname is, irrespective of what God you worship, has a fair chance at opportunity, has a fair chance at life. That is the mindset that and conviction that a new nation tries to provide. And that is why it is called a new nation, a nation of equal citizens.
As SK Kajwang, you have been in the leadership role for quite some time. I would like to know what was a defining moment for you that has shaped the person that you are and the leader that you are today.
Thank you, thank you. Very same firm belief. You know, what motivates me every single day is when I go about the streets of Nairobi and I see that street kid who has no shoes, has no clothing, has no shelter, has no nothing, but still believes that this country can provide equal dreams, can provide equal hope to that privileged kid in Karen. That is my firm conviction. That is my motivation. That is what pushes me every single day to work hard. It is for that kid to have equal space, to have a safe space, to dream, to hope. And also, there are so many kids who have the grace, who have the will, and who have the grit to make ends meet, but does not have a fair chance to realize that. And therefore, SK Kajwang tries to be a voice to the voiceless, to that kid who has no voice, down there in the downtrodden villages of our country, who think perhaps they can do something magnanimous, they can do something meaningful to develop their country and to succeed, but they lack that fair landing, they lack that fair space, they lack fair opportunities. A constitution should be able, as properly enshrined in our preamble, provide equal opportunities, like treat citizens as equal people. And so that is my firm conviction that citizens of all walks of life, irrespective of which tribe you come from, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of what you look like, irrespective of what you are, you can be able to make it in this country. So my conviction and motivation has always been about that skinny kid in the streets of Nairobi who has nothing, absolutely nothing, but has dreams for the country.
Yeah. And as a young leader, do you think that young people are being included enough in governance, policy, decision making? Do you think young people are being included enough then?
Young people do not have to wait to be included because nobody does.
Yeah.
Nobody will go to the street and tell you, come on, man, hey, come on. Nobody does that.
True.
And that is what I was explaining to you as opined by John Locke, that governments are instituted by
Yes.
to provide safe ground, safe opportunity, safe platforms for citizens to do better. And you see, there is this idea that young people have always been fighting for, to be on the dinner table. They say that if you're not on the dinner table, then you're on the menu. And therefore, with that idea in mind, the young people must wake up from slumber, from deep slumber, and realize that the certain heat of despair that they are going through will not be realized just by an iota of doubt, will not be just realized by an iota of thinking things will change over time. It is for them to actively participate every single day to make themselves count. The young people are not the leaders of tomorrow. Young people are the leaders of today. And that conviction can only be realized if these people contribute and actively participate in the affairs of their country. Because no, you're not waiting for anybody to come tell you to participate. It is your democratic right to participate every single day, to put government in check, to ensure that the institutions work for you, to ensure that government is accountable to its people, to ensure that the resources that are supposed to make your life better are used in the right way. That must be the right, that must be the responsibility of every young person in our republic. Not just to sit as bystanders, to wait for things to happen. No, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Just you wait. People have this tendency of believing that shortcuts will arrive, will achieve.
Yeah.
There's something at the end of the tunnel. There's nothing like that.
True.
It is for them to every single day participate in making things better, in putting the institutions to account, in ensuring that governments work for them, in ensuring the resources that have been collected from their taxes work for the betterment of their lives, in improving healthcare, in improving education, in making agriculture better, in ensuring that woman in Kisumu who wakes up very early in the morning to fry fish so that her child can get education is supported to the best way possible for her child to achieve the true fruits of a success. Many young people have the will, they have the grace to do education, but they do not have the resources to achieve that. And most of the time it's caused by a whirlwind of political disconnectedness. More people believe that government must provide all these things just overnight. Doesn't work like that. But if we are consistent in demanding from government to work for us, then it will work out. So let us not allow people to sleep on the job. Let's tell them, hey, this is your responsibility, you have to do it, we give you an opportunity to do it, and you have to do it, because there are no two ways about it.
That is very true. And as we are concluding our conversation, I'd like for you to maybe to tell the young Kenyan who is watching you right now or watching our conversation right now, like what is one thing you would like to tell them, even as they want to enroll in being a leader, or even just as a citizen, as they're watching you right now, what is one thing you'd like to tell them?
I'll tell them to come out. Come out in terms of, not complaining, not grumbling, but providing solutions to problems you're facing.
True.
Our education system sometimes is too much theoretical. And we have not been able to take our academicians, our children, to get the practical skills that matter. The world is fast evolving, whereby technology has come. There are digital enterprises whereby young people can get into entrepreneurship, can contribute in the digital space, can be able to communicate with people who are in different continents across the world and try to find out what they are doing to make their countries different. We say that we want to be like Singapore. We say we want to be like the United States. We say that we want to be like Germany. But are we actually doing the very same things that they are doing to ensure their country becomes better? Their culture and traditions are a bit different, and that is what should define us as people. If our culture and our tradition is something that we've missed for a long time, it is actually a high time Zag in a new nation to change their culture, to change our tradition, to change how we do things, so that we can be able to also evolve and reach the levels we keep dreaming about, we keep talking about, we keep hoping about. And so the citizens and the young people of our country, just to urge them that let them actively participate in shaping the conversations that matter. Let them actively participate in bringing solutions to problems, not always complaining and grumbling about issues. In a pluralistic society whereby every single day someone has an opinion about something. We transact a lot every single day. Government does this, government does that. Citizen does this, citizen does that. And therefore, if we are able to combine our efforts, because I mentioned earlier that citizens have equal responsibilities as well as rights. It is not the responsibility of one individual to make the government better, to make the country better, to make the nation better. It is a collective responsibility of all citizens, of all walks of life, of all tribes, of all ethnicities, of all religions, to push together, work together cohesively as a unit, as citizens, to make their country better. Nobody ever does. It's an illusion that we are waiting for some hero, we are waiting for some angel to make a difference and, convert our country to first world. It is not possible. It is the collective duty and responsibility of all the citizens of the country to make their nation a better place. We keep thinking that, I have to go abroad, I have to go to this country to be able to improve myself and make my life better and make my family better, but you've not realized that we as citizens can actually make this country the country that we want to. to live in, to see fair spaces, to see a just society, to see social justice, to see reforms in our independent institutions. That independent institutions are able to outlive individuals, because individuals will come and go, presidents will come and go, ministers will come and go, all these people in government, the members of parliament, senators will come and go. A citizen must be able to see in a lens that this country will remain forever. And you must think about what kind of nation we want to leave our children. What kind of a nation we need our children to inherit. What kind of an environment? Is it an environment that accommodates the aspirations, dreams, and hopes of its children? That is actually the country that a new nation tries to advocate. Because, generations are always judged by what kind of country they inherited, or what kind of the country they helped to build. And I'm out of the conviction, I'm out of the idea that to make our country better, we must not inherit the one we found, we must actually build the one we want. So that is two different things. Inheriting the one we found, we keep complaining every single day that our systems are corrupt, that few people have chances to opportunity, that resources are being stolen from the public coffers, that citizens are not able to find employment at a high rate of 67%, young people are unemployed. But we keep talking about these issues every single time, year in, year out. Every electoral period, a citizen or a voter is treated like a king for a single Tuesday. Then afterwards, we keep rotating about the very same problems we've been facing ever since independence, more than 60 years down the line. We keep still discussing about the problems. It is time to find the solutions. It is time to shape the conversations that can make our country better. A country whereby every citizen, every kid, every child, every woman, every man, young and old, able, disabled, rich and poor, are treated the same. That is my dream. That is my vision. That is the vision of a new nation. And in our community of young people who believe this country can change, I hold dearly that aspiration, that this country can change. And I've told you the skeptics do not want this country to change. Those who profit from our division do not want this country to change. Because they get the business deals from government, and they establish all these mannerisms to try and euthanize conversations around the political scenario to actually advance their own ill motives. But young people of our country must shape a different conversation, must have a different narrative about the country they want to see in their lifetime.
It is very true. For us to even change the country itself, we also have to be the ones filling those spaces. Those spaces where we feel like this person is not doing this for us. That's our time now to go and fill those spaces and see what we can do for ourselves, for our citizens, so that we can see the change that we want. Because we can't keep on crying when we're at home, when you're doing nothing.
It's our time, it's our time. And you see, a voice can change a room. And if it can change a room, it can change a community. If it can change a community, it can change a nation. If it can change a nation, it can change a continent. If it can change a continent, it can change a world. Remember, I'm talking about one voice. Just imagine a billion voices, a million voices, speaking every single day about the difference they can make in society. Just in a matter of time, you'll be able to realize the aspirations of our democratic values, the vision for our country, be able to really live in our time about the country that we think about every single day, that provides fair opportunity. I'm so much into that fair opportunity. I'm so much into every single child getting fair chance at opportunity. Provided you're willing to work hard, you can get ahead.
True.
That is my belief.
And maybe for the people who are watching from at home, maybe you could explain to them how they can find a new nation and be able to read it so that it can inspire them to be more and to do more.
By the way, most of the young people spread across the country, across the 47 counties of our republic. So far, so good. Every county has a new nation. At least every young person, every single county has a new nation. And when I launched a new nation some weeks ago, I reminded the participants that it is not my noble idea it is our collective responsibility to shape a new nation. And I reminded them as well that I'm not going to do this alone. Nobody does, nobody achieves it.
Yes.
It is our collective effort to fight every single day and to demand the reforms that we want to see to make the country better and to achieve the aspirations of a new nation. A new nation is a hope. A new nation is a dream of what I've been talking about, of a country that provides fair chances, of a country that treats all its citizens equal, of a country where the law treats equally that child in the street as that billionaire in the capital city. A country whereby government serves its citizens equally, without segregating on region, without segregating on where they come from, without segregating on my people and your people, without segmenting our country and our society to ethnicity, to religion, to tribes, without really identifying people from different profiles, but actually treating all the citizens of the Republic as Kenyans. You know, when a president is elected, it's not elected as Kikuyu Kenyan, as Kalenjin Kenyan, as Mijikenda Kenyan, as Maasai Kenyan. He's elected as president of the Republic of Kenya. And you see, when we are doing the political banter, citizens or communities identify the person elected as president as our president. What about the other tribes that perhaps have him as the father of the nation, as the father of the country, as the president of all? And therefore, if we need to realize the aspirations of this new nation, we must shift our mindset from segmenting the person who occupies the office of presidency to one community, because now the other communities feel they're left out.
Yes.
And perhaps we use the arithmetic, the voter arithmetic, to determine who leads Kenya. Every single time you find citizens or communities discussing about, we are donating one person to represent us at the national level. Now, what about the Mijikenda who barely have a vote, who barely have a person to donate? Now, that kind of segmented society, that kind of divided society will not create the meaning and the sustenance of a new nation that we want to create. And therefore, my argument and my substantive argument, my fundamental argument is that citizens of the country must start identifying themselves with what true citizenship is all about, as stipulated in our constitution. Citizenship is about people who are guarded in a certain jurisdiction. Not Kikuyu, not Mijikenda, not Taita. Citizens guarded in a certain jurisdiction. And therefore, if all of us have common problems, if all of us are going through economic turbulence, if all of us suffer to find healthcare, if all of us find it difficult to find education and educate our kids, if all of us are finding the best aspirations for our children to succeed, why do we every single time in the election period accept to be patronized by certain clique of politicians to go along the route of tribalism, to go along the route of ethnicity, to escort them to go into the national conversation, and after that they don't remember you. They forget you for the next 5 years, only to come to tell you that you're the king on that Tuesday morning, to go and vote for them. Then immediately after that, it disappears. So my conversation, and I will never divert from this. I'll hold it because it's my firm conviction and belief that during our time, a new nation will be realized, that a president will be elected on ideas, that a president will not be elected on tribe and ethnicity, that a president will be elected on distinction and merit and character, not which religion he comes from, not what his surname is, not who his father was. That a president in Kenya will be elected because he argues points and provides solutions and provides alternatives and has character to treat all the citizens equally and respects the law, respects the democratic process. That elections are done in a democratic way, in a procedural way, as stipulated by law, without using bullets, without using fear, without using animosity, without using hatred, without working neighbor versus neighbor, without causing havoc, without detrimenting society and segmenting society, and ensuring that people are divided so that you can grow. That is my firm belief that a new nation will be realized. And in our time, young people of Kenya shall lead a conversation, shall lead a revolution, shall lead a new dispensation where people will be invited in a national debate to argue what kind of solutions, what kind of merit-based ideas they are bringing to the table to make our country better, to make our country first class, to improve on healthcare, to improve on agriculture, to improve on education, to make the lives of the citizens better, to invite neighbor versus neighbor, to invite neighbor by neighbor, to invite citizens by citizen, to invite society by society, hand by hand, brick by brick, society by society, citizen by citizen, to work in a conversation of shaping our country and having a country united by its core ideals stipulated by constitution, stipulated by our law, and by even the common decency of human nature. That we're inviting us as in a conversation as citizens and as human beings, that I accept that we had many problems before, and we are not short of problems today. But we can be able to identify alternatives to solutions to providing amicable solutions to the problems that we face every single day. That we can have a country that everyone will feel proud to call home. You know, when our athletes go to represent our country abroad, every single one of us, when they win, we post them on social media, we post them online, we celebrate them, we say they are our heroes. You know, when Harambee Stars represents us abroad, all of us get behind them to support them, to cheer them up. We hold our flags high on it to say this is our country. You know, when they are playing, just the other day, they were playing, all of our citizens, irrespective of which tribe you come from, irrespective of what God you worship, irrespective of what you look like, every single one of us was present in the stadium to celebrate them, to cheer them up, to ensure that they have the support that they need to succeed. That is actually the argument, fundamental, substantive argument that I'm trying to provide. That even in politics, we can get together behind an idea, merit-based idea, a person who has proven beyond reasonable doubt that he has character to shoulder the aspirations of the citizens of the country.
It's very true. And from this conversation, I feel like also what I've learned is for leadership to create a lasting change, it has to begin with purpose. It also has to grow with action. So from purpose to action, a lasting change can be able to be made, whether it's from the leaders or even from us as citizens ourselves. Thank you so much, Mr. Kajwang, for your very insightful journey. Thank you for your insights, for everything you've told us. I'm hoping that the people watching from home are going to learn a lot about this.
Thank you.
And yes, maybe I can just show them what the New Nation book looks like. This is how the book looks like. It is out everywhere, so make sure you go.
At Nuria store? Yeah,
Nuria store.
Nuria store, yeah. Can find it at Nuria store, or they can also locate it through me on my social media at SK Kajwang, everywhere. Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Yes.
Everywhere. They can reach out to me at SK Kajwang.
Thank you so much. Until next time.
Thank you.